everybody, welcome to TFT Tarot for today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee. Welcome to the special reading for the January 6th hearings.
Was there a slight amount of dread there when you said that?
Where will they lead? Nobody knows. It's very confusing, a lot of it. We'll see if we can add to the confusion or detract from it. Let's see what the tarot has to say about what's going on.
So we have determined a few questions that we're going to ask that have different ways of being read. We're going to get right into it.
We're going to get right to it. And so the first one is going to be a 3-card reading just to see if the committee is making its case to the American public. Are they really making their case? Are they changing hearts and minds at all? Or, is everybody still pretty set on their beliefs on what happened that day, January 6th, 2021?
Right.
Well, the first card is the 9 of Cups, upright. Uh-oh. The second card is the 3 of Cups, reversed. This is so interesting. And the final card is the Queen of Pentacles, reversed. Wow. My first impression when I saw that 9 of Cups is, they are doing what they want to do. They are making the decision, or they are making their case to the American public. However, despite that fact, there's nothing to celebrate here. There's really no reason to celebrate. Maybe it's just because this is so ugly, the fact that we even have to talk about it is bad. But maybe it also means that even though they are making their case, are they really changing those hearts and minds, Mr. O?
Well, that's what I was going to say, because I know from previous very partisan kind of affairs in our country that people who are pretty much oriented towards a particular party or type of ideology stay with it and can easily, rationalize or make their feelings known that they don't believe this. But that's what I see here, and I do feel that to some degree they are making the case. Some of us are happy about this happening one way or the other. People do feel like they value this case being made, but there are some who definitely are not happy here, and maybe even more so, they sort of feel it really destroys their understanding or destroys how they feel things should be.
Yeah, there's I feel like there's a recalcitrant to move the needle, In other words, if somebody is trying to move the needle, the politics or the ideology in this country, the mindset that, this was a real threat to our democracy, isn't really moving. I think here that people may be convinced that some things were done wrong, but maybe they're just not as convinced that this is meaning that our democracy is falling apart, etc., because of this.
I'll stick with that.
All right. Now we're going to do a multifaceted... Wait, first actually, nope. We have a yes/no question. Will the work so far that's being done by the January 6th committee have any impact on the midterm elections?
Good question.
And you know, it's a very multifaceted question in a way. Not really multifaceted. I mean, the answer could say yes, but what does that mean? I mean, obviously it'll affect something. Does it affect one side over the other? Which side? That may not be shown, but it may just show that there is an effect. Maybe we'll be able to tell by some of the cards that come up, maybe not. All right, Mr. O. Yes, no. You.
Read the question again.
Oh, sure. I wrote it in very small print. Will the work so far of the January 6th committee affect the midterm elections, the outcomes? Have an impact. That's it. It looks like it's leaning towards yes. Now, I have some interesting thoughts here about the deciding card here, the Two of Swords upright. Do you want to go first, though?
Sure. Although it's leaning towards yes, there is an idea of a stalemate here. And so the question is will this lead to a change? It still could indicate a couple things. One thing it could lead to is the fact that nearly a third of registered voters did not vote in the last election. Does this mean that they're still going to be there, or does this mean that that is a point of consideration about how the midterms will be affected?
This is very interesting to me because, especially since we're using the Lightseers Tarot, because it has this extra nuance to it, I feel. And when you look at the card and you see these birds around it here, what I think is it will have, there is a maybe yes, it will have a modest effect on the midterm elections. And why? Because I feel like maybe there are some other issues that might impact the midterms more.
Well, the other thing, too, is that the swords is about intellect, and so the idea could be saying, too, and this is consistent with the Two of Swords, is that sometimes one needs to know more before one can make a qualified...
Good point. People might still be reserving judgment, so a lot of people aren't moving the needle based on the January 6th hearings. Also, remember, this is kind of a wait-and-see card, a step-back card. But people got to vote, so we're asking about that. And so what I'm thinking here is they are weighing more than just the January 6th things in their decision.
I can go with that.
Yeah.
But clearly, though, the January 6th will have an effect.
Yes,
But
modest.
probably a lot of things will have an effect.
Yep. All right.
It's a way of looking at it.
All right. Awesome. So this is going to be the more one of the more involved questions. We are going to look at will any of the following subsets of people be charged for the insurrection? You know, whether it's treason, whether it's what's the word? Oh God, I can't think of the word. Dereliction of duty, etc. So we're going to do 2 cards for each of the following. I'll let you know as we go. So will any of the following be charged? And of course, this would be follow-up by the Department of Justice. The January 6th committee cannot charge, people in that manner, but it could lead to criminal charges, and that's what we're looking at here. Will there be some criminal charges going around? All right. And see what some of the factors in that may be. And there are 3 areas we are looking at. He's going to put one card in, then the next card in each of the 3. I know that made a lot of sense to you. You'll see. All right. And actually, I'm going to be doing it.
Yes.
Silly me. I'm going to be doing it.
Watch.
The universe is on me. Okay.
Watch and learn.
So the pile 1 is relating to Trump's cabinet. Will somebody in Trump's cabinet be charged? The second pile is Trump's legal team. And when I say that, I'm speaking of people like Rudy Giuliani, Eastman, and Sidney Pollack. These other attorneys he was getting,
lawyers.
Yes, his personal legal team of sorts, unofficial legal team. And finally, legislators. Will they be charged? All right.
Do you want me to move them over?
In a moment, I'm going to put the second card under each. And we'll talk about one of these at a time here.
All right.
All right. Okay, so will Trump's cabinet be charged? That was first. We have the Ace of Cups here. And then we have the Sun. Very, very positive cards. Am I supposed to say yes or am I supposed to say no to that? I really feel here that this is saying that things are going to come to light. Maybe it's possible that some of the cabinet are finally going to make deals to avoid charges and that things will come to light. I also feel here with that Ace of Cups, I had something with that.
A change of heart?
Yes, a change of heart. Thank you, but there was something else. I'm going to let you go ahead and I want to think about it a moment.
Well, I pretty much see the same as you. I just sort of feel that, when they talk about people who do things that are wrong, they need the light to make them scatter like the cockroaches they are, that basically throwing light on dubious doings is the best antiseptic of all. And so this could be saying, too, that maybe it is members within the cabinet or other people in that kind of strata that will have this scrutiny placed on them.
If they aren't charged, it may be because people might look at them as being loyal to their commander-in-chief, doing what they were told as part of the cabinet of the commander-in-chief, even if it was wrong. And that might be brought to light as well. So I think there's that possibility, but I think more than likely, I think we're going to get revelations. I think there's going to be a change of heart. And there might be plea deals reached.
The Sun is a revelation in a way, so why not?
All right, so the second pile is about Trump's legal team.
So there's the Knight of Wands and then the Nine of Wands. So they're both wands.
It's interesting here. I could go either way on this, but I truly feel that Nine of Wands looks like the legal team is gearing up for a fight. They know it's coming. I think that, Giuliani and Eastman may have crossed some legal lines here. As a matter of fact, I can't remember if it was Eastman who said as much. Well, this isn't legal what we're doing. So I have a feeling here they're gearing up for a fight ahead. I'm sensing there will be charges.
Yes, I think that these cards together, they sort of speak to chutzpah, sort of like an arrogance. And, normally, the Knight of Wands would be a confident, bold card. But in the context of our question, I feel they're feeling that the best offense is defense. Good point. Yeah, and although this maybe is a defensive kind of motion, this is definitely more offense. So I feel there's a bit of that pride there that's going on as a motivating factor. Yes,
they will not give up.
Nope, not easily. So then
finally, the legislators. Well, let's look at this. There's Four of Pentacles reversed, and there's the Queen of Cups reversed. On one hand, I could say maybe they're going to get off scot-free. They're going to be let loose. On one hand, I could say that. But on the other hand, I think there's a world of hurt there for them. I think that's what that card is saying, and that the Four of Pentacles reversed may indicate that they could stand to have to let go of something.
Well, there's some
Their
things here.
seats.
There's some things here that look like disconnects. Like this is a disconnect of emotionality with rationality to some degree. And this could be a disconnect with what you feel is yours, but what really is not yours, i.e. belongs to the American people. So I'm wondering if, there is something to pay for, or something that will just sort of fall their way and represent that there's, a tide against them.
You know what else, Mr. O? I sense, I don't want to say propaganda. There's probably another word for this, but I sense some propaganda afoot here, With this Four of Pentacles, it's kind of like they're saying, hands off. Well, we are totally against what happened January 6th. We've never supported it. In other words, they're washing their hands once they see the writing on the wall that maybe other people are getting charged here. They may try to wash their hands of it and show how disappointed they were and that they never supported this at all, that this affected them too. Feel sorry for us.
I totally get that. I mean, I sort of see that
Possibly.
in the sense of with his cabinet, that person or two who already resigned almost immediately because they didn't want to be
Yes.
tarred by any implications with them. And I also, I think, see that, with the legislation a little bit too. The idea of certain senators who said, we had no idea that this person that is here at the Supreme Court was going to do these things. So there's this idea that people trying to act like they willfully didn't understand that. They disbelieved that. They had a valid reason. We don't think so.
Well, what's funny about this too is if they don't get charged, I almost sense here they're going to pay. They may lose their seats. They may have to give up something. Let go of something. Maybe some clout, some power. I really kind of feel something is up there. It may not be
the
charges.
reverse Queen of Cups sort of speaks to credibility too.
Yeah.
A person who is
Good
impossible
point.
to believe because their imagination
right.
runs away with them.
Maybe trust is eroded. Yeah. All right. That's that. That was very interesting.
Indeed.
Now we're going to do a quick yes, no, and I shuffle first, I think. Yeah. So you'll be counting this one again. Will Trump be charged by the Department of Justice for a crime? And remember, this might be a good time to say we're just tarot readers. We're just seeing what the tarot has to say. We are not experts. You can consult your political analysts, whoever you go to for, your authoritative information.
We're entertainers. We have to say that. And if we give you something to think about, well, what you think about is really, it's on you, really. It's not on us. We don't hypnotize people. We don't give medical advice, legal advice, banking advice.
And clearly, all of you out there who dabble with tarot, whatever, you can draw your own conclusions from these cards and these readings. It's fine if it differs from ours. We're going with what our gut tells us and what we feel. Oh, I'm counting.
I knew it.
I did too. It's leaning towards no.
So the cards
That
indicate
doesn't mean a definite no.
the cards indicated it's not as likely.
And let's go through them. We have the Star reversed. Then came up the Ace, which tells us whether it's a yes or no. The Ace of Wands reversed. And then we have the Page of Wands reversed. So the real thing to read here is the Ace is saying it's leaning towards no, but the Star and the Page of Wands, I just feel like it's not even going to get off to a start. I don't even know if it's going to be a consideration. And there's going to be a lot of people unhappy about it. And maybe they just don't feel they have enough evidence to directly tie Trump to the insurrection. You can listen to legal analysts that say otherwise, but maybe ultimately those people that are making the decision are indicating that they're not likely to charge him.
It represents a great loss of faith, a loss of hope, a loss of feeling that there's a destiny that is always true and is not dictated by, avarice things. And it seems to me like it just sort of comes with this idea of the message, the messenger bringing that message. That's the Page of Wands. That just the way this is delivered, the way it comes to us, just feels like, just a horrible, hopeless message to all of us.
Well, to all of us, to those of us who feel he should be charged, I think. Others might be cheering, but I feel there's no victory here. January 6th, there's just there's nothing good that has come out of it. All right, I'm talking the event itself, not the hearings. So we're going to end with a longer reading.
Oh, okay.
That was not the end, Mr. O. The end
It is for me.
That's so funny. The end is kind of like what will happen once the committee completes its investigation. I mean, where is all this leading us? We're just going to keep this kind of open-ended, throw 5 cards, and see what we can get out of this. And that's what we're going to conclude with today. Am I supposed to shuffle first? You cut them last time, so I think you shuffle first. I'll cut them for you.
Such ceremony we stand on.
No, actually, you shuffle first and you'll cut them for me. Wait a minute.
It's too bad others don't stand on ceremony.
I'm so confused. But we're still going to prognosticate, despite my confusion. Also, for you guys watching this, don't forget there is also a U.S. predictions for the end of 2020 that covers a diverse area of interest. You might be interested in checking that video out as well.
It's so quiet you can hear a pin drop.
The tension in the room. All right. 5 cards, Mr. O. Lay them out here first. We'll take them one at a time. Interesting. What? Wow. Oh.
Say the question again.
Well, what will happen once the committee completes its investigation? Kind of like a overview of where we're going to be at. Right. And it's really bizarre stuff here. We got a few repeat cards from our last readings, but they're upright this time. We got the Queen of Wands upright, or Cups upright, I'm sorry. We have the Star upright. We have the Emperor upright. Every card is upright. We have the Five of Pentacles upright. And we have the Hierophant upright.
So let's take a look.
This is pretty interesting to me, that despite whether Trump gets prosecuted or not, there seems to be some positive energy here happening. And by the way, 4 out of the 5 cards, major arcana. And the card that's not major arcana is a little bit depressing. Let me just say. But let's take a look at this in microcosm here. We got the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is seeming to think that, I don't know, are people just happy it's all over? There's joy here. There's a feeling of something that's bringing a little bit of more emotional stability. Like maybe whatever the results of it are makes people feel a little bit better.
Right, that even if there is no large or even smaller scale prosecution,
I think there's going to be some.
Well, depending on how that happens, the result seems to be stabilizing, peaceful, serene, calming. Maybe the idea that we just put one behind us and we're ready to just kind of move ahead, find our hopeful roots again.
I wanted to
the sense of where we should be going.
I wanted to move that one up a little bit because actually that was in the middle of the 5 cards. And I think that's significant here. I feel that there is suddenly a renewal of hope. Confidence may be restored. People feeling a little bit better about things, couldn't we say?
At least some people.
Well, I think it's most of us, but we'll get to that. And then the Emperor is here. It's as if
it's a belief in basically authority and autonomy. It's sort of a belief in a sense of an empire, an emperor who runs it. It's a belief in feeling the value of a system that is regulating things and sort of keeping society moving.
I feel that with the Emperor, we will maybe have our faith restored in some of our political leaders and possibly in some of our law enforcement leaders, judicial leaders, not the Supreme Court lately, mind you, but I'm speaking in terms of this outcome. So the outcome of the January 6th is maybe we realize there are people out there who are looking out for our best interests, the final result. However, we have the 5 of Pentacles here, and the 5 of Pentacles is upright. I feel this card is here because there are going to be some people who feel, if not left out, that they're not feeling the rest of this. They feel the worst because of what January 6th has done. Could this be some of the people that have been charged? There are many people who are already facing charges due to their involvement in the actual break-in in the Capitol. And hey, I have heard at some of those trials, tears have been shed, even with a 2 to 3 year sentence. So there's a lot, maybe with some of the, as we pointed out here, some people will face charges. Maybe there's going to be a lot of people who feel left out of this happiness.
Well, it is a question about the overall feeling of what's going on, and not everything for everybody is a rosy picture. I'm just going to say what I see here, and I'm thinking maybe somebody is left out who needs to be left out, not allowed to run for office again, and just always being out there whining and complaining that they don't have. It sounds like the way they are right now, actually.
Well, the only problem with that I see, and I'm just going to bring it up, is the fact that, charged or not, this person can run for office. So it's up to his party, and it's also up to the voters to vote for him or not. So I feel here that this may impact his ability to maybe win a primary, to maybe even get on the party's nominating. Maybe the party will reject
To
this
me, this
person.
card says that no matter what happens to him in terms of the legalities, being charged, he won't be in again. He's
Some
out.
people
He's
say he's only running to avoid charges. So if our cards are right and he's not going to be charged, could it be possible he'll decide not to run? I find that hard to believe because he wants to win after losing.
It could be. On the other hand, he is transactional, the art of the deal, and maybe, we know that one of the reasons why he's avoided his due judgments over many decades is because of the money he's been able to use to buy people off, to buy lawyers.
That doesn't look like money.
Well, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying, though, is that maybe a deal is presented to him saying, we won't charge you, but you have to agree to these things.
So stay tuned on that. Finally, ultimately, I think this is a very positive sign, depending, we all don't like some of the status quo that exists right now. But I do feel in line with this question, I feel that maybe what this means is the end result of all of these hearings will be a restored faith in democracy, or if not that, it will at least stabilize democracy for a while. What do you think?
I think in that larger context, yes. I mean, we could talk about maybe a more conforming, conventional society forming around this, but I think we're going to keep it specifically with the idea of this legal situation, this national crisis situation, and say, no, this really does talk more about the institution of the wheels of justice, etc.
It could indicate that maybe more laws preventing this kind of thing in the future maybe has a chance of being enacted. I wonder about that, that maybe there'll be more structured laws and things in place, checks and balances to avoid this. But it looks positive. Really, overall, everything looks more positive because of these hearings. So that's what we have. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I can't say that I do. It's been pretty interesting because it sort of seems like there's always that idea that, somehow nobody ever gets exactly what they want, but they get enough to sort of feel like, okay, we're back in the game again,
So, we'll just have to see.
Funny how that happens.
Funny how that happens. And, we're just going to have to see how all this plays out. We might be right, we might be wrong. I definitely want to see how this is going to play out. Hope you found this video interesting, informative, gave you something to think about, and goodness, we'll have to see what happens.
And next up, too, of course, will be our look at world predictions.
That's right. We've got now U.S. predictions done. A look at the January 6th, and the final one in this saga is going to be some world predictions to the end of 2022.
Should be within this week or so,
So stay tuned for that as well. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you, and we hope to see you soon at one of our live streams.
All right.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.